You made a comparison with you and Nas, man. Everybody was talking about it. Now, why out of everybody you pick Nas, bro?
I didn't do it.
They asked him.
No,
they asked him a question.
New song?
No.
You don't like Ace Trumpets?
What's so great about it?
It's so good.
You're not in my top 50. You might be in Charlemagne's top 50 and things like that.
What's your
But
top 50?
you haven't done that much for me in my life. Like I never want to be like Pusha. I never had a Pusha moment.
Viral on the Spotify Rap Happy Hour podcast.
Yes.
About Pusha T.
People don't like people. Yeah. See, there we go. And then look what happens. But I'm ready for all things, man. Shouts to Pusha. Shouts to that guy. Shouts to the clips. You know what I mean? Congratulations.
Do you like the new song?
No. But you know.
You don't like Ace Trumpets?
What's so great about it?
It's so good.
It's good.
It's so, oh man.
It's good.
So yeah, there's something going on that you ain't telling us about,
it's
bro.
It's good in what? A nostalgic value of it.
You don't think Ace Trumpets is hard?
I don't believe them.
Oh.
But that's a whole nother story. I don't want to downplay nobody's craft.
You run from the spirit of repossession. Too much enamel covers your necklace. I buy bitches, you buy them sections. You buy watches, I buy collections. Misery's fueling your aggression. Jealousy's turned into obsession. Reality TV is mud wrestling. Some sign checks I know better than. Beware of my name that there's delicate. You I know where you're delicate. Crush you to pieces, I hum a breath of it. I will close your heaven for the hell of it.
They ain't getting money like me. They ain't sitting in that coupe like me.
Jim Jones really thought he could play with legends like it was a game. First he tried Nas, then went after Pusha T. Back to back. Like he was testing fate. The internet's calling it one of the boldest self-destruction moves hip-hop's seen in years, and honestly, they might be right. Everything started when Jim dropped a few reckless lines that sent shockwaves through the culture. Out of nowhere, he claimed Nas was never that impactful and doubled down saying Pusha T was overrated. Then he had the audacity to brag about it, saying, "I made Nas go viral again." That single quote turned into gasoline on an open flame. That's when the tide started to turn. Fast, fans who once hyped Jim for his grind started calling him delusional. Suddenly people weren't laughing with him. They were laughing at him. Bloggers, podcasts, and even DJs who used to spin his records started distancing themselves overnight.
Admired Nas. But remember, Nas' first record, The Barbecue, came out when I was in 11th grade. So Nas was my idol when I was young. Like you did, came to dressing, the wordplay, the music, everything. I was a superior Nas fan. Period. I'd never take that away from him. But then as I got in the game, you got to realize that your rivals would be idols, and not to take anything away from that. I developed my own style and my own lane that these kids start to gravitate towards the same way I gravitated towards Nas when I was younger and things like that. It's a whole different generation came into light and started going crazy that these kids love me. They don't really know who Nas is. If he's 22, he's born in 03.
Not all of them. Some of them, though.
You know what I mean?
A lot of them, though.
And that's when the strange stuff began. His Summer Jam performance, the one heavily promoted, mysteriously got shortened with no clear reason. People in the crowd were confused, and rumors started flying that the organizers didn't want drama on their stage. Meanwhile, Pusha T kept applying pressure. Every subtle post, every cryptic lyric felt like a reminder Jim was officially in too deep. But here's where it gets even crazier. This wasn't just about two rappers throwing shots. No, this felt personal, cultural, almost like the industry decided to close the doors on him. The same culture that once hyped Dipset's movement was now treating him like yesterday's news.
Yeah, Jimmy boy, you should have never brought this up. Y'all are only 3 years apart, and Nas is just like murdering you. You asked us to look up the stats, and here they are. Like Jim Jones, like you got a couple songs. I mean, like literally it's a couple. But we're talking about Nas. Let me show y'all Nas's last projects. Nas been getting it in since 2018. Jimmy, when the last time you put out an album? Oh, would you look at that? You have been dropping music. You've really been dropping music. But nobody's heard it. Nobody's listening.
And get this, he didn't drop those words during a heated moment or diss track. Nah, he said it chilling on the Joe and Jada podcast. a laid-back show known for jokes and casual talk, not for declaring war on hip-hop royalty. Instead of pulling back or laughing it off, Jim stood firm, acting like he couldn't be touched. He even hinted that his numbers and Billboard stats were more impressive than Nas's. Like, seriously? That's when everyone realized Jim wasn't just talking wild. He was rewriting history in his own head, and the culture wasn't gonna let that slide, and this is where things got wild. Jim Jones didn't just take shots at rap legends, he dragged his own kid into the chaos. Like, bro, what kind of example is that? You're beefing with Nas and Pusha T, two certified icons, and somehow you think bringing your child into the mix makes it better? That move had the internet shaking their heads like, man, this ain't hip-hop. This is a family meltdown caught in 4K.
My son can't tell you one Nas record. You heard? Like, let's keep it a buck.
I think personally, all you need to do is just ether one more MC, and I don't think no MCs will step to you after that anymore, period.
But it got, honestly, I can't, like, if it was like Jim Jones, imagine putting a pen to paper to write about him. Even so nice about him, how did you do that? What's the first sentence? What the fuck do you write about him? I'm not anxious to hear the Jim Jones diss record. Like, I'm like, yo, the niggas that used to have a nigga a little nervous was like B.I.G., Pac,
right?
Even Cannabis, like Eminem. The niggas used to have you like, if we go at it, dog, we gotta go hard. You know what I'm saying? But these niggas like a Jim Jones, like, I respect you getting your money. You're like, exactly, right?
But MC-wise, you're not respecting his lyrical game right now.
I respect his hustle. Right. I respect his hustle. That's about it.
Within hours, the internet turned into a digital courtroom. Receipts started flooding timelines. People posting Nas's Grammy wins, his Illmatic anniversary tours selling out across continents, and clips from his sold-out MSG performance last summer. Side by side with Jim's own stats, it was brutal. Comment sections were eating him alive, saying things like, bro, this ain't even a competition, it's a mismatch. And all this over one random hot take nobody asked for. Jim turned a harmless opinion into a mission to rewrite hip-hop history. Solo.
Let's do a Q&A like you do on Drake.
Let's go. I'm in.
Quick time, right? Nas and Jim Jones.
Let me tell you something, and I'm going to say this accurately. I see where Jim Jones is coming from. Like, I can see him, because if you're looking at the algorithms now, I can see where he's coming from. But you can't take the legendary status that what Illmatic has done. Just Illmatic. Illmatic itself has birthed Mobb Deep, has birthed Capone and Noriega, has birthed so many other people. Like, just that album. And you can't, and that time was the tougher time for you to be noticed. So that's the reason why. But I understand where Jim is coming from. I understand his stance.
What part do you understand?
That the kids know him now.
I'm gonna tell you something. I'm gonna tell you something. I looked it up to see like who gets searched more in 2025. It's still Nas. I'll give you the numbers right now. Okay, streaming wise, Nas has about 9.1 million monthly Spotify listeners, while Jim Jones clocks in around 875,000. And I fuck with Jim music.
But that's dope for Jim.
This is the Google searches.
Yeah.
This is.
Most rappers would have realized they were in too deep and disappeared from the spotlight for a while, but not Jim. Nope, he doubled down, then tripled down like a man with something to prove. He popped up on Nightcap with Shannon Sharpe, looked him dead in the eye, and said it again with his whole chest. Nas was never that influential. The audience went silent. Then, just when you thought it couldn't get worse, Jim added fuel to the fire by claiming Nas was always in second place. Second to who exactly? Jay-Z? DMX? That comparison made no sense because these three giants were never even playing the same game.
I'm way more influential than Nas, and I don't care what nobody say. I know I made a little boo-boo when you talk about the sales and all this type of shit. I don't feel like getting into that rhetoric about where I started and where he started.
Well, you said that
but listen, Nas was nice when I was in high school. When I was in 10th grade, Nas came out. Nas was dope. We appreciated him. He had a little bit of run. But Nas always came up second to Jay and DMX and all these other people. Like, he never had
shame in that. There a lot of mofos came up second to Tom Brady.
He never had that type of influence on us, except for his first album. I told you, I used to want to dress like Nas because he had a lot of fresh clothes that the hustlers used to wear and shit, and we used to see him on TV. He had one of the illest albums of all time. And then in high school when he had the barbecue and shit like that. So I'm a real fan of Nas, but he kind of lost me after the movie Belly and shit like that.
Let's break it down. After Belly dropped, Nas brought that deep, poetic street wisdom. Jay came with the boss mentality and slick talk, while DMX, That man was pure, raw emotion, barking pain into every verse. Each of them built their own lane, and none of them had to compete to be legends. Comparing Nas to Jay or X is like trying to compare Kendrick Lamar to Future. Completely different vibes, both great, both dominant in their own ways. So for Jim to stand there in 2025 still acting like Nas was never leading the pack, that's not just a bad take. That's rewriting the entire culture's memory. And the craziest part, Jim used to be a fan. He's admitted it himself. Said he used to want to dress like Nas when he was coming up. So now it's like, hold up. You once looked up to the man and now you're pretending he never mattered? That's when the line between confidence and delusion started to blur. This ain't about respect or rivalry anymore. This is about validation.
The Google-based searches. Nas gets between 200 and 300,000 searches a month globally. Jim Jones gets 40 to 70,000 searches globally.
I'm gonna be honest with you. All right, we all know that Nas wins, but listen, the fact that we're even having this conversation, that's a win for Jim Jones.
But that's what I was saying.
That's
Jim,
a win.
Jim knows what he's
let me
doing.
just tell you something. I'm a Floyd Mayweather fan, right? I'm talking about, I think he's better than Muhammad Ali, right? This is me, right? I get argued, people, but whenever Floyd fights somebody that night, they're on the same level as Floyd. So that's the reason why I hate when Floyd takes these exhibition fights, because I'm sitting there as a fan. I don't want Jake Paul to touch my favorite fighter. Like I don't want him to have a lucky shot.
But you know at Floyd Mayweather, how do you turn down 30, 40 million?
Yeah,
for exhibition
I don't know how to turn down 30, 40
You know
million,
what I'm
but I know how to turn. But so my point of trying to say is, by us even comparing it, that's a win for Jim Jones. Like I seen Jim Jones in the beginning. Like I got footage of Jim Jones and Cameron
Jim's trying to claw his way into a conversation that's never really included him, the GOAT convo. And deep down, what he's really revealing is that insecurity, that quiet frustration of never being mentioned with the greats. The louder he talks, the more it shows. And just when everyone thought Jim might finally calm down, nope, man doubled down again. This time on the Bag Fuel podcast, he dropped what might be his most delusional statement yet. Forget calling Nas second place. Forget saying he wasn't relevant. Jim took it to a whole new level. He actually claimed he's the reason Nas went viral again. Like, bro really said he hit the revive button on one of the most respected MCs of all time. According to Jim, the whole hip-hop world should be saying thank you to him for reminding people Nas still exists. Yeah, you heard that right. The man wants flowers for stirring up a mess. The internet did not let that slide. Within minutes, clips from the podcast went viral for all the wrong reasons. One fan fired back, "The only reason people are talking about you is because you're saying wild stuff about Nas, bro."
What I did for Nas probably never been done for him in his life. He's never been that viral at all, ever. Ever. He's never been talked about like this ever in his life.
Now, has Nas
you dig? The last time he was in some shit like this, when people were comparing was when him and Jay was beating on him. You heard? You dig? Like,
you saying Jim Jones has more hits than Nas?
I'm from New Jersey. We grew up on ballin'. That's one. We did not grow up on one mic. Pop Champagne, Summer in Miami. That's a classic.
If I Rule the World. How is that comparable to those songs you just said?
I'm 22. Every Nas song that my man MJ played, we said we heard that from what, Doug?
2K.
2K. Those songs are in the video game. Okay. I have never in my life said at a party, yo, throwing that Nas right now. If you did top 3 influential people regarding dressing, swag, Jim Jones is top 3.
But Nas influenced Jim Jones.
Cap, Chrome Hearts and the BB Simons belts and all that. Jim Jones is like top 3.
So where you put Max B?
Nobody was wearing Ed Hardy. Nobody was wearing True Religion. Nobody was wearing Chrome Hearts. All that was white biker stuff. He brought that into the culture.
Nobody's tuning in for the music. Another user wrote, "The disrespect is crazy. You don't earn stripes by dragging legends. This ain't how you build legacy." And they weren't lying. The comments were pure chaos. Because truth be told, Nas never fell off. The man's been on beast mode the last few years. 3 albums in 5 years, a Grammy win, multiple sold-out tours, and collaborations that had the culture hyped again. He's been consistent, evolving, and proving that longevity beats controversy every time. Meanwhile, Jim's been bouncing from podcast to podcast, chasing headlines with shock quotes instead of bars. It's giving desperation, not dominance. And what makes this whole thing even more ironic, the very moment Jim's mouth got him trending again, Nas's name was trending twice as high. Fans were streaming old albums, quoting his lyrics, and reminding everyone why the man's a legend. Jim really thought he was starting a movement, but what he actually did was light a fuse under his own career's funeral. Now let's rewind real quick to Paris, 2024, at the Louis Vuitton Spring Summer Show. Picture this, every powerhouse in the culture sitting front row, Beyonce, Jay-Z, Rihanna, LeBron, even Pharrell stepping into his new role as Louis Vuitton men's creative director, cameras flashing, history being made, pure star power in one room. And then it happens, Pharrell hits play and the energy shifts instantly. The beat drops, the room goes silent for a split second, and the voices everyone recognizes come through the speakers. Pusha T and No Malice back together again. The Clips reunion nobody saw coming. They drop an unreleased track and the lyrics cut deep. You could feel the shade in the air. Every real hip-hop fan in that building caught it immediately. Even Jay-Z was nodding his head to the rhythm, that sly grin on his face like, yeah, I hear it. That moment wasn't just a performance, it was a cultural statement. And if you think Jim wasn't sweating while watching that unfold, think again. Because the timing of that performance and his comments, let's just say it didn't feel like coincidence.
Down amongst veterans, I'm watching fans get relevance. We only know what but he's the elephant. You chase the feature, I'll be your element. And don't clap down, it's under inspection. The question marks block your blessing.
And make no mistake about it, this wasn't some slick, playful jab. This was a declaration of war. The timing, absolutely surgical. Pusha T and No Malice used the biggest fashion event of the year to drop a lyrical bomb right in front of the world's elite. And everyone knew exactly who the target was. That slick line, chasing a feature out of your element, yeah, everyone knew that was aimed straight at Jim Jones. It was like watching a diss disguised as couture. Because remember, Jim had been trying to cozy up to Drake right after Drake got honored by Dipset in Harlem. But that same Drake, still carrying the scar from the story of Adidon. Pusha T made sure that reminder hit extra hard. This wasn't some random SoundCloud drop. Nah, this was Pusha turning Paris Fashion Week into a lyrical war zone. It wasn't just about music. It was strategy. It was a silent statement played in front of A-listers, billionaires, moguls, and influencers who shape culture. That was checkmate energy. No tweets, no interviews, just an ambush on a global stage. Meanwhile, Jim was out here begging for attention. He hit every podcast circuit he could find. Breakfast Club, Rap Caviar, Drink Champs, dragging Pusha's name like it was his new mixtape title. He claimed Pusha T wasn't even top 50, like saying that out loud would suddenly make people agree.
Can you sing along the 5 Pusha T records right now? His records.
Yes.
His records?
Yeah.
Name
I love Pusha. Nostalgia.
Oh, you was a Pusha T fan. I didn't know he had fans like that. Can you name 5 Pusha T records? No, his records. Pusha T. I love your soul, my dog. You're not in my top 50. You might be in Charlemagne's top 50 and things like that, but you haven't done that much for me in my life. Like I didn't never want to be like Pusha. I never had a Pusha moment in my life. I never thought like you dig. Like where I'm from, niggas want to be like you if you was really that dude and that rapper and things like that.
Wayne wanted to be like Pusha.
Shit.
He was influenced by Pusha.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
That's why Pusha did the Mr. Me Too record.
Okay, cool. You a very strong Pusha T fan. But what else has he bring to the game? Did he make people want to dress like him? Did he have some slang that everybody was talking like him? There'll be the girls, all the girls wanted to do him. Like, what is the...
But here's the thing. Pusha didn't flinch, didn't tweet, didn't even address it. Instead, he flexed in silence. His response wasn't a rant, it was a masterpiece. A billionaire-backed performance under luxury lights. While Jim was chasing interviews, Push was standing next to Pharrell, Jay-Z, Rihanna, and LeBron, making moves that spoke louder than words. That's a different level of revenge. And you gotta understand the symbolism here. This wasn't just a clapback. This was art meets power. The setting itself carried weight. Pharrell produced the track, the same Pharrell who built the Clips sound from the Virginia streets to global runways. This was a reunion years in the making, crafted with purpose. The song they dropped, Chains and Whips. Yeah, that's the title that had everyone whispering backstage. According to insiders, it was reportedly produced inside Louis Vuitton's Paris headquarters, overlooking the Seine River.
You run from the spirit of repossession. Too much enamel covers your necklace. I buy bitches, you buy them sections. You buy watches, I buy collections. Misery's fueling your aggression. Jealousy's turned into obsession. Reality TV is mud wrestling. Some sign checks I know better than. Beware of my name that there's delicate. You know I know where you're delicate. Crush you to pieces, I hum a breath of it. I will close your heaven for the hell of it. It seems to be valor amongst veterans. I'm watching your fame escape relevance. We all in a room, here's the elephant. You chasing a feature out of your element. And those lab diamonds under inspection, those question marks block your blessings. There's no tombstones in the desert. I know by now you get the message.
Oh, off the rail. Push came in making them feel it. Nigga, look.
Pharrell even told the New York Times, pointing out the window where it happened, saying, "This was made right here. We were looking at the city, feeling the moment, beating the system. Every detail was intentional. The luxury, the message, the revenge. It wasn't just about calling Jim out. It was about showing that real influence doesn't beg for clout." Pusha T reminded everyone that legacy doesn't need a microphone. Sometimes it only needs a moment. While Pusha T was out here playing chess with billionaires in Paris, Nas was silently building an empire back home in Queens. And while Jim Jones was busy hopping from podcast to podcast chasing clout, Nas was sealing generational wealth. Word hit the net that Nas had officially partnered on Resorts World Queens, a jaw-dropping 350,000 square foot casino and entertainment complex backed by nearly $5 billion in investments. Yeah, you heard that right. $5 billion. This wasn't some quick celebrity endorsement or brand collab. This was ownership, infrastructure, legacy. Nas wasn't just cashing checks, he was writing them.
The future is not something you wait for. It's something you build. It lives in the hands of the doers, the dreamers, the people who refuse to stand still. Resorts World is more than a casino. It's energy. It's opportunity. It's hope for the borough. A second chance for some, a first step for many. It's where community gathers, not just to win, but to build a future once imagined. This isn't just business. This is legacy. And now it's time. Time to invest in us.
He's building something that'll feed families in Queens for decades. Locals are calling it the new Vegas of New York. And Nas, he's the face of it. Meanwhile, Jim's still bragging about summer jam slots like it's 2008. You can't help but see the difference. One man's out here creating billion-dollar pipelines while the other's chasing blog mentions. Nas didn't need to drop a diss track. He dropped receipts. And trust me, they hit harder than any bar Jim ever wrote. The comments under Nas's post were savage. One fan said, "Someone can't stop talking because he's chasing viral moments." Meanwhile, Nas is out here building empires. Another wrote, "When you're truly rich and respected, you don't talk moves. Your moves talk for you." And honestly, that sums it up perfectly. Jim learned that lesson the hard way. Fast forward to Summer Jam 2024. His big comeback moment, cameras rolling, crowd waiting, lights flashing. This was supposed to be redemption. But when he hit the stage, crickets. The energy was off from the jump. Then came the knockout.
You got to pull up, I'm in the suitcase. Wrong down to Harlem, tell him that I sent you. You tell him it's August, I'm going to November. I need a couple birds, get a bird, have a... Please, come on bird, have a... Please, come on niggas, come on squad, have a set you. Please, here, I see a town of monkeys. I see the big money in the town.
Funk Flex, the same Flex who used to ride for Jim Heavy, suddenly cut his set short. You could see it hit Jim right there on stage. All that hype, all that noise, and no hits to back it up. But instead of cooling off, Jim doubled down again. He loaded another diss, this time aiming straight for the soul. After that Louis Vuitton moment with Pusha T went viral, Push himself stayed quiet publicly. But trust, the streets have been whispering ever since. Word is the Clips reunion album isn't just music, it's war. Insiders close to their camp say the project is filled with surgical-level disses carved directly at Jim's neck. That Paris track? That was just a warning shot. What's coming next? Way darker. People inside the industry are calling it the Coke Bear moment, meaning Push isn't teasing anymore. He's fully embracing that villain energy and he's loving it. No mercy, no filters, no interviews, just bars that burn. And the way Push is setting this up, man, it's bigger than beef. It's theater. He's surrounding his comeback with billionaires, luxury houses, high fashion runways, and world stages. It's art wrapped in revenge, power disguised as performance. Meanwhile, Jim's still in Harlem shooting gritty freestyle videos in alleyways over the same beat that buried him in Paris. It's giving desperation. Fans are starting to notice too. The comments are brutal. Bro out here battling ghosts while the legends he dissed are building empires. Another said, Pusha T's dropping designer diss tracks while Jim's out here begging for relevance.
Viral on the Spotify Rap Caviar podcast.
Yes.
About
Man,
Pusha T.
People don't like people, yeah, see? There we go. And then look what happens. But I'm ready for all things, man. Shouts to Pusha, shouts to that guy, shouts to the Clips. You know what I mean? Congratulations.
Do you like the new song?
No, but you know.
You don't like Ace Trumpets?
What's so great about
it? It's so good.
It's good?
It's so, oh man.
It's good.
So yeah, there's something going on that you ain't tell us about, bro.
It's good in what? A nostalgic value of it.
You don't think Ace Trumpets is hard?
I don't believe them. Oh. But that's a whole nother story. I don't want to downplay nobody's craft.
And that's the craziest part. You know, it's not even about the bars anymore. It's about positioning. Pusha's comeback is moving with precision and power, while Jim's fight looks smaller and smaller each week. The more he talks, the more the silence from legends like Nas and Push drowns him out. Because in 2025, power doesn't shout, it moves quietly. And right now, Jim Jones is learning that the hard way. Yeah, you read that right. Jim really tried to flip Chains and Whips into his own response track. The audacity was unreal. He thought he could turn a diss that embarrassed him in Paris into some kind of comeback anthem, but instead of reviving his career, it exposed just how desperate he'd become. And then came the real mistake, the one that made even longtime fans turn their heads in disbelief. Jim didn't just go at Pusha T, he dragged No Malice into it too. Like, what was he thinking? You want to take shots at Pusha? Cool, that's rap. But bringing in No Malice, a man who's been open about finding faith, walking away from the streets, and building peace in his life, that wasn't strategy, that was straight up disrespect. People were stunned. Even blogs that used to ride for Jim called it low. One headline read, Jim Jones just crossed a line that didn't need crossing.
Yo, I wish this was here, and I wish we had some hats, because this Jimmy is capping right now. We did talking about he got a greater catalog than Nas.
So we got the clip coming?
Yo, Nick, pull the clip up, bro.
But they forget I got a hell of a catalog. Me, Jim Jones, myself. Gold records, platinum records, gold albums, platinum albums. You know, me, Jim Jones. Pull up Nas Billboard entries and pull up my Billboard entry.
Yo, this is wilding right now, bro. Yo, Jimmy, you got 4 songs. And you was a feature on Certified Gangsters. You got 4 songs. You've been rapping for, what, 20 years?
If you call it that.
Hey, all this money that you've been getting, you couldn't, like, figure out how to straighten your legs up? Like, bro, like, what?
He needs a BBL leg. A BBL leg. I need one too. But I do think Jimmy's great. Nas level.
Because everybody knows No Malice doesn't even play that game anymore. He's not in the beefs, not chasing headlines. He's living a completely different life. So when Jim tried to twist his name into the mix, it felt bitter, not bold. And that's when the silence got loud. Pusha T didn't clap back right away, but if you know his history, you know exactly what that means. He doesn't move fast, he moves smart. When Push strikes, it's never emotional. It's surgical. Fans started waiting, whispering, oh, Jim's cooked. Push is plotting. You could feel it in the air. But Jim didn't stop there. He went even further. During a live interview, he actually dissed Clips' new single, Chains and Whips, on camera. He sat there smirking, pretending to be unbothered, saying, I never really listened to Clips like that. But everyone could see it. That fake chill didn't hide the insecurity in his eyes. It was written all over his face. The man knew deep down he'd been outplayed, and now the energy around him has completely shifted. It's not just Nas and Pusha T closing the door on him. It's the entire culture, blogs, fans, industry insiders. They've all moved on. Even Dipset loyalists are telling him to let it go. Comments under his posts are brutal. One said, "Bros fighting ghosts at this point." Another read, "This ain't rap beef. This is a midlife crisis in 4K. The truth is, this was never really about bars anymore. It was about awareness, power, and respect. Jim walked straight into a heavyweight arena thinking he could hang with the kings and got crushed by silence, strategy, and billionaire precision. Now he's not trending. He's not charting. He's not even part of the conversation anymore. It's like hip-hop collectively turned the page without him. And he's still yelling from the margins, trying to convince people the story ain't over. But the story might already be done. By late 2025, you could feel it. Jim's whole image had crumbled. The same man who once walked into rooms with Harlem confidence was now walking into interviews looking drained.
That was not a top 50 verse. Not at all.
He was traveling. He just came back last night.
Still not in my top 50.
They ain't getting money like me. They ain't sitting in that coupe like me. NBA Youngboy before Pusha T.
That's wild, Jim. That's
NBA Youngboy before Pusha
crazy.
T?
That's crazy. What do you?
What? Nah, Jim just trying to get everybody mad.
Pusha T around out here. You heard?
Jim trying to get everybody mad. That Jim's. look at him. Look at him.
But that's what I'm trying. That's how I feel about Pusha T being on the top 50.
The spark was gone. The shades couldn't hide it. Even his energy felt forced, like he was performing the version of himself the internet still expected to see. What made it worse? The game had moved on without him. New artists were dropping every week, sampling Dipset classics, paying homage, but they weren't calling Jim for features. They were giving credit while leaving him out of the picture. You could tell it hurt him. He'd built his name on influence, but influence don't mean much when the culture stops listening. Meanwhile, Pusha T was everywhere. They're not online talking, but present. His Paris move had paid off big time. High-end collabs, magazine covers, even a limited Louis Vuitton capsule collection tied to the Clips reunion rollout. Each appearance was another silent reminder that real strategy always wins over noise. And Nas, he'd become the blueprint. The same people who used to debate his relevance were now studying his business model. Financial pages started running stories calling him the billion-dollar poet. Real estate, art, tech, entertainment, Nas was turning everything he touched into a long-term play. And while the culture celebrated his legacy, Jim was somewhere trying to reclaim a spotlight that had dimmed for good. At one point, he even teased a redemption album, posted a few studio clips online, dark lighting, motivational captions, all that. But instead of excitement, the comments were skeptical. One read, "Bro, we're tired of speeches. Just make music without name-dropping legends." Another said, "Respectfully, the chapter's closed." Every attempt to stir momentum just reminded people of how far things had fallen. And it wasn't that Jim lost talent. It's that he lost timing. The industry evolves fast, and he spent too long fighting ghosts instead of creating moments. By the end of the year, the silence wasn't just from Nas and Push, it was from everyone. The game had finally stopped clapping back. Once the buzz fully died down, the silence around Jim started to feel heavy, like a career hanging in mid-air with nowhere left to land. The interviews stopped coming in, the podcast invites dried up, and even the gossip blogs that once thrived off his rants weren't checking for him anymore. He went from being that guy stirring the pot to just another voice echoing online with no audience left to argue with. People inside the industry started whispering about how brands quietly pulled back too. Fashion collabs, club appearances, small endorsement deals, all paused. Nobody wanted the smoke of being tied to someone who'd crossed lines with two legends back to back. Even promoters who once relied on his name for ticket sales started switching him out for younger faces with cleaner headlines. The same energy he used to weaponize had now turned against him. Meanwhile, clips from Nas's Queen's Casino opening went viral again. Not because he said anything, but because of who showed up. Heavy hitters from business, sports, and hip-hop were all there celebrating, showing love, Cameras caught Jay-Z shaking hands with Nas, Pharrell in the crowd, even Pusha T in attendance. That one frame alone said everything. No words needed. Unity, power, legacy. The internet dubbed it the real king's table. And while that moment was trending, Jim tried to drop a freestyle the same night. He went live from a dimly lit studio, rapping over a classic Dipset beat, claiming he was still the talk of the culture. But the comments were brutal. People weren't clapping, they were clowning. Bro, the culture moved on months ago. Another wrote, when you talking about being relevant while they talking about ownership? That was the reality check. Loud and public. What used to feel like swagger now looked like struggle. The internet doesn't forget, but it also doesn't wait. By the time Jim realized the room had emptied, the spotlight had already shifted to a new generation of rappers who grew up idolizing Nas and Pusha, not challenging them. The story had flipped, and he was now the cautionary tale everyone talked about when pride goes too far. At this point, it's official. Jim Jones isn't even part of the conversation anymore. The industry that once hyped his name has moved on completely. Even his former peers stopped mentioning him in interviews. The energy that used to follow every move he made? Gone. It's like he's been quietly erased from the same culture he tried to challenge. And here's the wild part. Clips' full album still hasn't dropped yet. The Paris preview was just the teaser, the calm before the storm. Word from insiders says the unreleased project is packed with subliminals and layered messages aimed straight at Jim's entire era. Not just him, but everything he represents. They say it's not a diss album. It's a declaration of dominance. Imagine that. Jim already down bad before the music even hits streaming. Once the full Clips rollout drops, this whole saga might hit its final chapter. The streets are already calling it the end of the Dipset dynasty.
Drop this shit. Let me give you some inspiration, cause you like it. That shit was trash, we gon' let them get a do-over. They got you gas, you must think that you the new Hover. You a 4.0, nigga, I jumped in a new Rover. Your brother still jumping in bed and you tell him move over. Those two roach niggas don't know what to do in no way. Kanye gave you whips, but that's what they do to the slaves. Trying to act bad, but we ain't doing charades. I really have bombs on the block just like I threw a grenade. I don't got no time to be concerned with no watch you got. You never been uptown, but I work up by the poppy spot. Trying to get illusions when you run up in the Aki spot. By 5,000 bottles, we turn around and get a choppy chop. I spent 500,000 down in my spot. I got it.
Because while Jim spent the past year trying to stay relevant through chaos, Pusha and No Malice turned their comeback into a global moment, merging fashion, faith, and lyricism like nobody else in the game. Meanwhile, Nas is still winning without even speaking. His empire keeps expanding, his casinos thriving, his businesses are booming, and he's become a symbol of how longevity looks when you play it smart. He didn't need diss tracks or interviews, just consistency and quiet power. So now, as 2025 closes out, the story's clear. Jim started a war he couldn't finish, and the people he tried to bring down used silence, strategy, and success to bury the noise. It's poetic and a little painful to watch, but that's hip-hop, right? The culture never forgets who respected the craft and who disrespected the throne. And the real twist? Clips' album hasn't even dropped yet. That might just be the final nail in the coffin. So if you thought this beef was wild, just wait till you hear what's coming next. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and I'll see you on the next one. Oh, and don't go anywhere. Click the next video on your screen for more celebrity drama.